Good evening, Blues. Hope everyone's okay. Tonight you've got myself, Tom, City Dave and Dan Fielding. We'll talk about all things City from this week, including the Atalanta game with a good win with Sterling being man of the match and his 3 goals. We also talk about this weekend's game against Villa and the next 2 games against Southampton and possible score predictions. We have some really good fan questions come through as well, which are really helpful to us, and hopefully we managed to answer all your questions. And we talk about all things City news, including some head-to-head stats for the Villa game. And yeah, listen, we hope you enjoy it. As always, your comments are welcomed. We've actually done something a bit different today. We've gone live on Facebook with the chaps listening in the background, so I hope the sound quality was good for everyone who listened to on Facebook. And yeah, listen, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much. How's the week's been? Bit more of a smile on our face after Tuesday.
Bit more of a smile, yeah. Raheem Sterling's just, I'm running out of superlatives, really. The way he's playing now and for the last probably 6 to 12 months, just about absolutely incredible. I mean, he's just destroying teams all on his own. It's how long are we going to keep him for? That's probably the question now.
That. No, don't. Yeah, we're not. But yeah, we need to cement him into a nice long 6 or 7 year contract, don't we?
Exactly. Yeah.
Blank checkbook. Take as much as you like, my friend. Yeah. What did Pep say about him? Extraordinary. It's just there's endless superlatives we can say for him, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think what Pep said as well, which I found really interesting, is that he's one of the first players that he's found that he literally needs no recovery time, that he can play like he did on Tuesday night and batter a good team, and he's ready again the next morning to go again, and he can play at the same level. And I think that's what Pep was saying. There's not many players in the world who can get to that level and then maintain it 2-3 times a week. It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's our leading goal scorer. 12 goals, 13 games. Were we saying last week we're going to struggle to find somebody to replace Agüero? Oh, is he an option? Is he going to move away from the wings and come to a central position, do you think?
He needs to be calmer in front of goal, though, doesn't he? 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper the other night. That's a chance that Agüero would bury without a doubt.
That's true. Actually, yeah. If that was Agüero, you would be saying that, wouldn't you? You would be thinking he's going from that. Just having a couple of people saying that this sounds quite quiet, so I'm just going to move my speaker, lads. Give me 2 seconds.
Albeit, I have to say, though, Agüero blazed. Was it against Palace or was it against Atalanta? He had a shot on goal, didn't he? And buried it wide, didn't he?
Is that the left-footed one? He turned and left-footed.
Yeah. You would have thought 10 times out of 10 he would have buried that somehow. Maybe it is a Sterling, you know.
Did you get the feeling though with Sterling he had too much time?
Yeah, he had too much time to think. It's the only downfall to any professional footballer. As soon as you have too much time to think, it goes out the window. When it's at your feet, take it as it is. Think about it. If you have too much time to think, it can go all wrong.
That's what they say about penalties all the time, isn't it? That you turn your back and you make your decision about when you're running up for the ball, and if you change it mid-run or just as you're hitting the ball, you're going to miss. Dan's exactly right. It's about just sticking with what you're going to do. Even if it goes wrong, at least just stick with what you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't. We didn't have as much possession as I was expecting to have in the game. 55% possession compared to 45. They did all right actually. They did better than I thought they would as a team. Didn't know what to expect. But when that first one went in, I was never really worried. I didn't really think we'd lose. But it's like, hang on a minute. This team can play. They can knock it around a bit. And I suppose anyone can in this competition, can't they?
Yeah, I think Pep said that's one of his most enjoyable games either, because they weren't a typical Italian team who came to defend. It looks like they've only got one way of playing, which is to attack, and that's why they're third in the league, and they're scoring a lot of goals, but they're shipping a lot of goals as well in Serie A. But I think he really enjoyed that game because they came to actually play a game of football and not just try and catch us on the counter or something like that. And we got the best of it. Hugely enjoyable game, I thought.
Yeah, there was a couple of negatives, wasn't there? that had a couple of injuries, didn't we? A couple of knocks going off, which is a bit frustrating.
Unbelievable.
Rodri's going to be a big miss, though, isn't he? Really. He, compared to what most people have said, yeah, he's had an okay start to his City life. He's still going to be a huge miss. And it affects the back four now as well, albeit he's only played 2 games at that back four. Fernandinho's going to have to come into that defensive midfield, unless Gundogan is going to have a constant run now in that position. It could affect it all, but at the same time, it might prove out some positives. He might be able to get some younger defenders on. Stones might get a bit more game time now to get fitter. You never know.
It's got to be Stones for Villa for me. It's got to be. We've got to try and get him some confidence up and get him back in running. He's got a cracking black eye, hasn't he? What's he been up to? Yeah.
Been messing around with Eriksen's wife again.
I believe so, yeah.
What's he been up to? He's been scrapping in a casino somewhere, hasn't he? I better not say that. That's how rumours start.
He did. He played well when he came on. I love that rant of Guardiola's that he wasn't ready to come on. But yeah, what did he come on 40th minute? That's a good 50 minutes he got under his belt. I think he did. I think he did perfectly fine. And hopefully he'll only get better over the next few games, and he stays injury free, because that's I think you've mentioned it before, Tom, with Stones. He's a little bit, for a young lad, he's injury prone, and he shouldn't be. He should be in the prime right now, like Mendy. Yeah, absolutely. Do we know how long Rodri's going to be out for? Has it been? It's suspected hamstring, isn't it? But nothing's been announced yet, has it?
No, I think he's got a scan. Either it was today or tomorrow. I think his initial scan. There was a tweet somewhere. I can't remember where it was from, but it looked pretty much guaranteed a hamstring, and they're about a month out, aren't they? Really, a month, maybe 5 weeks.
Yeah, and we just had Stephen Brown mention Foden got a lot of potential. He's going to be a quality for the team, and I thought it was brilliant until the 82nd minute where he decided to. It was harsh, wasn't it? The sending off. I've looked at it several times now. The first one, I keep asking myself the question. I think either of them in the Premier League, you get away with both those tackles. But I think this is where the maturity of playing constantly will come into knowing what to do in the Champions League.
Thing is, after Foden got sent off, Mahrez had the same thing done to him by the Atalanta player, and nothing was said. I think he got a free kick, but that was it. There was no word to his ear. It's consistency gone out the window.
Yeah.
Again.
You think Sterling getting man of the match was the right call with 3 goals?
It has to be. I mean, they didn't get anywhere near him all game. I know he came to really life in the second half, but the whole game, he just battered them. And that doesn't really happen. You remember Bale did that to Inter Milan, 10 years ago, whenever it was. That was the same kind of performance of an Italian defensive team couldn't get near our player. Couldn't get near him. It was incredible. And it was it's unusual to see Fernandinho make such a silly tackle for their penalty as well, wasn't it? That was a bit of a dodgy moment for him. What do you think of that? He's got to rely on his experience. I know he's getting older and he might have lost that little bit of pace, but that's where your nous and experience comes in. He's 34 now. Yeah. He knows better than that. No, absolutely. You got anything to add for the Atalanta game? Anything else to move on, or do you want to move on to the next one?
Ederson. What a performance! I mean, we all know his distribution with those footballs are fantastic, but what a game he had! He made 2 great saves as well, key saves, but his distribution was fantastic. He was pinging balls. I think we had one. I think it went to Sterling as well. We just stepped outside our penalty box, got it to the opposition penalty box, and he had a shot on goal. Absolutely fantastic goalkeeper, and it's arguably our most vital person in that team for me personally. Get rid of him, you get rid of the philosophy of the team. Yeah, first name on team sheet mentality, isn't it, with him? Literally number 1. Yeah, I think what's happened to Ederson is, and I was mentioning this really at the start of the season, he's gone from not just a really good distribution keeper, he's actually a really good goalkeeper who is keeping us in games and making some world-class saves. I mean, he's got to be the best keeper in the world right now. He has to be. He's got everything to his game that you want in a keeper.
in my book. I watched Match of the Day a couple of times. Once like afterwards, and then once a couple of days after. I watched it again this afternoon, and that double save he made, well, not double save, but that first save against Benteke, knocking on the crossbar, and then the second one a couple of minutes later. Go on, Bennett. It's hard to believe how close they were to going in, and we would have been right up against it there, wouldn't we, if he hadn't made those saves?
Yeah, that's why I said 2-2 in my prediction, because you knew that Palace were going to have a little bit of a chance, but thank God we had Ederson in goal. I mean, he's just saved us, and if we win anything this year, I'm going to have a feeling that this is going to be down to Ederson making some incredible save that wins us a trophy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I just jumped into my mind there, thinking, hang on, right, Ederson's Champions League and Premier League, isn't he? And then we got Bravo at for the cup game. So,
yeah.
Will Ederson actually lift a trophy as a number one goalkeeper this year? Oh, that's a question for you.
Liverpool will give up the title, won't they? They always do. We'll win it.
I love your confidence, man, mate. I tell you what, my ability to see the negativity in Manchester City is phenomenal. So I'll leave you with that confidence.
I'm the one that gets the dodgy scoreline, so I'll have all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, I need you to bring me to like raise my spirits up a bit before every game. We got a really, you know what? I'm looking forward to the Villa game this weekend because I think they're playing quite well at the moment. I've seen Grealish; he's doing really well. I think the England manager was there to watch him last weekend when he scored. I think did they win 2-1, wasn't it, against Brighton?
Yeah, they did that. I'm looking forward to seeing McGinn.
Yeah,
he's had a brilliant start to just playing for Villa anyway, but certainly even stepped it up a mark again, playing in the Premiership with them. That he's already been touted of getting a big move maybe in January because he's playing that well. But yeah, I foresee this being a tough midfield battle at the weekend.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The chance of John Stones starting, I think is highly likely for me. I can see him starting. His first start since mid-September. But like you say, he looks confident. He looks assured. Good job. He can look through one eye with that crack of a black eye. So that's all.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've got a bit of a question for you here, lads. I pulled some stats off before. So Man City have won 9 consecutive Premier League home games against Aston Villa. What is the aggregate score?
9 consecutive. I'm going to go 35-4.
Oh, you're so close. You're so close.
Oh, in that case, right. What do you think?
You know this, don't you?
No, I promise you I don't.
Oh, come on, Dad. Have a ping at that. I've kind of given you a hit there. I've been rubbish at playing poker. Can we tell this?
Yeah.
33-5.
34.
Oh.
You're so close, Dave. That's ridiculous. I'm sceptical of this. I think you've got it up a boost.
I promise you, I didn't know. That's not bad. I just always go back to when I think of Villa, I always think about that Yaya Toure goal in the 90th minute. I think we beat them 3 or 4-0, and we were winning the game anyway. And he took it from one side of the pitch, 90 yards all the way down the other end, and scored. I always remember that with Villa. What a player he was.
Yeah. They've had some bells over the time. When they got relegated, I was really happy because I thought they were rubbish, and I felt they would be rubbish for a couple of years, and they really do my head in. Have they still got that American owner? Is he gone now? Was it? Oh, it wasn't Randy Lerner, was it?
Doug Lerner or something?
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it? Yeah. But when they got relegated, I was really happy because they were just one of those teams that was doing nothing and just fighting and scraping for like staying in the Premier League for years. And when they went down, I was well happy. But now they've come up. Do you know what? They look like a good team, and they've got good little core boost of players there that want to play football, which is great. And I enjoy watching them on Match of the Day. So it's I'm really looking forward to playing them. Obviously, I want us to absolutely smash them. Another little stat for you: City have not lost consecutive home league fixtures since February 2016, and Pep has never lost back-to-back league home games in his managerial career. What does that tell you? Dan, I'm expecting you to go 10-0 at this point.
No, you've got to be realistic. It's got to be 11 or 12. I never like hearing those type of stats because they're always a bad omen. It's like when the commentators say that, they've never lost a game against such an opponent and they've always scored 2 goals before conceding, something like that, and then it just all goes belly up. And this season, we've played some absolute corkers of games, like the Watford game, and yet we struggle against teams like Wolves. We'd never turned up that day and we're at home that day. So, and like you say, Villa are absolutely, they go for it now. You can tell they're a recently promoted side. All 3 promoted sides are going for every point they can get. I mean, Sheffield beat Arsenal, didn't they? You just never know this season.
Yeah, fair play to them as well. I was really happy for them with that. Don't know what's happened with Arsenal. Arsenal just seem to, I don't know, they're just a weird team, aren't they, at the minute, Arsenal?
They're just treading water. I think, Carragher and, on Sky and whatever, Merson, whoever, they've all been saying the same thing, that they're no better off than under Wenger. They're just treading water. They just can't get this right, even though they've got some phenomenal players, Arsenal, right now. But I don't know what it is. Emery just can't get them to gel and put teams away.
I noticed Pepe's had a couple of howlers, hasn't he, recently? Yeah. He's 70 million quid. He's going to be doing better, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
But Mahrez, similar. He had a pretty mediocre start, didn't he? And Pepe's a lot younger. So I think it's a big step up, though, the French league to the Premiership. I think it's a whole different class. I'd love to know what he played like against PSG, but...
Yeah.
Well, last weekend we predicted rightly that Jesus was going to be starting, didn't we? I'm expecting an Agüero masterclass this weekend. I think he's going to. Because do you remember when against Atalanta, Agüero missed an opportunity to take his hat trick, and Sterling scored his hat trick like 30 seconds afterwards. Do you remember this on Tuesday night? And Agüero was absolutely fuming with himself, and he didn't run over to the team straight away. You could see he was really miffed. So I think Sergio's going to be all guns blazing on Saturday.
And you think Agüero is going to start, not Jesus on Saturday?
Yeah, I think Agüero will start. I think he'll rest Jesus, because you look at the last couple of games. We've not got a game midweek next week, have we?
Have we?
Is it not Southampton?
We've got League Cup, haven't we?
League Cup is
Southampton, isn't it? Yeah, Southampton at home.
And then we play Southampton the weekend after, don't we? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think he'll start Agüero this weekend and Jesus in the week. And I'm looking at a stat saying, what's the stat here? Sergio Agüero scored 6 goals in his last 4 league games against Aston Villa, including 5 in 3 appearances at the Etihad. So, he's got good form against them. He'll be confident. I'm thinking it's Sergio's day on Saturday. I don't know what's telling me that. I just think he'll put Jesus in for the week later. In the week later. What do you think? Do you think he'll go still, or do you think he should stay with Jesus? Because that was a cracking header he scored. I don't know how he managed to get his body in that angle.
No, that was a fantastic finish.
I think if I tried to do that, I'd break my neck.
I mean, I always think with Pep that, well, is he not playing a Bernardo or a Jesus or De Bruyne or whatever because he's resting them for the next game, and then he doesn't, and then he'll play the same players, one game after another. That guy, you just can't second guess at all. You just don't know what he's going to do. I would have thought, because Jesus didn't get any play time on Tuesday, that he will start on Saturday, but I could be completely wrong. You just don't know with Pep.
Yeah, we've got a few people commenting, agreeing with me, and Steve Brown thinks that Agüero will be going for the hat-trick on Saturday. So I hope you're right, Steve. I really do, pal, because my fantasy football is crying out for an Agüero hat-trick. Come on, my captain.
Like I say, I don't even know if my account's still active. I've been on it since the first couple of weeks. It's gone out the window, man.
I'm not doing it, actually. I'm quite happy. Do you play fantasy football, Dave? Or is it just me that talks about it every week?
No, I do. I'm in a couple of leagues on Sky, and that actually reminds me, I now have to take out Rodri, who's been in my team since the first game of the season. So
yeah, he needs to come out. Well, if Fernandinho plays on Saturday, which I'm absolutely expecting him to, can you believe it'll be his 200th Premier League appearance?
As little as that, I thought he might have a look.
Fernandinho's next Premier League appearance will be his 200th.
Then again, didn't he sign for us when he was about 28?
I'm not sure.
He did.
It's quite a late 20s.
28. I mean, that just shows how consistent he's been. Because so that's six. Is this his 6th year at the club? I think it is.
I think it's 6th year. Yeah, this year.
That just shows the consistency of the man. Then that he's had a couple of injuries, but nothing major. He's not had anything that bad, and he's always going to get in the team because he's got that experience. He's a phenomenal player.
He's got to start, hasn't he? There's no question marks about him. He's not had a knock, has he, or anything like that? I've not missed anything there ever.
It'll be him and Stones at the back too, and then Gundogan filling in that defensive midfield. Yeah,
good shout. Good shout. Have you had any thoughts about what the team might be? Anything different than what we normally are used to see?
Cancelo will definitely play instead of Walker. I thought Walker had a really, really slow start to the game. He picked up a little bit in midweek, but in terms of he just didn't look ready. You know, he'd been off ill, hasn't he? He just still looked like he was a bit fatigued. You know, he was making great runs, but he's normally one of them. He makes that run. If he's not getting the ball, he'll track straight back and get into a position ready to run again. He just seemed like he was shattered, basically, after one run. You know, he just didn't really see him with it. But Cancelo hardly played. Well, I don't think he didn't play at all, did he, midweek? So I think he'll get the nod.
I don't think so, I think Bernardo will come in. I can't see many changes apart from, obviously, I don't think Foden will start, obviously, now. I think the defence will stick. I think Mendy will keep his place because I think Zinchenko's injured anyway.
He's a man.
Still.
He's massive, isn't he? You forget how tall he is and broad. Bloody hell. He's a man.
He's building some form up now and all, isn't he? He's getting a few minutes and he's providing very well.
And I think Pep wants to do that to him too, that he is playing him a lot, but I think he realises and Mendy realises as well that he's got to get his fitness. He's not there yet, but the more minutes he can get, he's going to get back, hopefully, to the player that we bought 2 years ago, because that's what I want to see.
There was a point against Atalanta where he lost the ball and lunged in for a tackle, and I cringed thinking, you watch that knee, mate, bloody hell, don't do anything stupid. It's just... And that worries me a little bit about his mentality. Is he stupid enough to do something like that where he could just put himself out for another couple of months? Just take it. If you lose the ball, just track it back. Just do your best, but don't do anything silly and get yourself injured again. I mean, fair play, he won the ball back, but at what cost? What potential cost if we lose him again?
Exactly. Yeah. But apart from that, I think Bernardo will come in, but I think there's an argument to be said Jesus over Agüero, but it'll be relatively the same team, I think, as what played on Tuesday.
I don't think Sterling will play, though. He was a bit poor on Tuesday, wasn't
he? Yeah, he needs a break, doesn't he?
Normal.
He'll rest him for Southampton, do you reckon?
Well, if we rest him for Southampton will definitely be playing a weakened team on Tuesday. If Sterling plays, God help him.
I tell you what, Foden will be starting that game. The way he played the other day, absolutely no reason why he won't be starting that game. I'd be fuming if he's not.
And Foden's just banned for the Champions League, right? Because that's where he got his card. It doesn't go to any other competition.
No, completely separate.
If anyone tells me differently, I assume it stays in that competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at the BBC gossip column before, potential replacement for Silva. Obviously, Foden is going to be the one for me, but we've been rumoured to get the Napoli lad, Fabian Ruiz. Apparently, City have had a couple of scouts to watch the game against Red Bull, and that interests me. Have you seen much of him?
Bits and bats, but have you seen the price being bandied around? I think his buyout clause is
euros or something.
I can't see City ever doing that.
No, we won't.
Yes, we spend money, but in the 50-60 range, I'll be stunned when City actually pay 100 million plus for a player, because I just don't think they want to do it.
I don't think we ever will. I don't think it's in the business plan. I'd be completely and utterly agree with you. For me, when I see things on the gossip column about the signing players, I always think we're never going to sign them, because City, I think we've discussed previously, City signed the good players who are a bit unknown and seem to make something
like Ederson.
stick off them. Like I just said, Rodri. What? Where's that come from? And all of a sudden, he's fantastic. And you know, when I see these £180 million, this is what puts us off. This is why we don't get him.
Thing is, though, we won't be going out for him personally. I don't think we'll be going for him because Foden's hardly played, and everybody, including us fans, all know as soon as Silva leaves, it's Foden's step-up point.
Yeah,
he's hardly played in the game, so it's like getting a new player anyway. And the way what we've seen of Foden so far, 80 million straight away, really, isn't he?
That's right. Why not?
Priceless.
Absolutely.
Really,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's a left-sided midfielder, which makes me think, hang on, is this Sane's potential replacement, not Silva's? When I keep seeing left-sided type players, is something happening there that we don't know about? I don't know. City have got to be keeping an eye on the market, haven't they, for that potential Leroy replacement if Homan, whatever his name is, over in Bayern decides to put his hand in his pocket for over 100 million euros, because it's going to have to cost a lot of money.
I think he's gone.
Dear, done.
I honestly think he's gone completely, because it's like that. When he initially got injured, he went through the advice of the Germany FA for doctors and surgery, didn't he? He didn't go through the City thing, and everybody always says if you go any German players that go around the German FA, it's always related to Bayern and what Bayern want. So I think the Bayern want him. They definitely want him. They're going to come back for him in January, even if he's injured. For me personally, they won't miss up the chance to do it. I mean, why would you? I mean, he's a fantastic player, and he's still 22.
Yeah, he's only young, isn't he? He'd like to think he'd recover from the injuries. Well, City will do what's right. I'm absolutely sure of that. We seem to have a really good way of getting rid of players at the right times and buying players at the right time. So I'm confident whatever happens will be for the right reason. And do you know what? If he wants to go, fine, go. I don't want to keep him if he wants to go, because we've got the talent scouting power to be able to go and find somebody and hopefully make him just as good.
Agreed. And I think I said in a little chat that we were having a couple of days ago, the big thing for me with City and having supported them so long is I just want us to start getting top whack for players when we actually do sell them. That we just have this tendency to undervalue our players when we sell them on or give them on a free. And I'm not just talking about this last 10 years, this era where, we can let Dzeko or whoever, go for free. It's just always been the thing, Anelka was one of the best strikers in the Premiership, and we sold him to Bolton for 7 million. And we bought him for 12. The only player for me that we made real good money on was Sean Wright-Phillips.
Yeah.
He came through the academy and we sold 26 million, I think we got for him. And if you go back even further, Gary Flitcroft, and it was different money then. Gary Flitcroft went to Blackburn for 3.4 million, and an academy player back in the 90s, that was a decent chunk of change. But I'm the same as you, Tom. If Zane's going, he's going. But make sure we get in 130, 140, 150 million for him, because if Neymar's going for that kind of money and Mbappe is, you're not telling me that Zane is that far behind. So don't be saying, we'll take 50 for him. No, you want 150 million or he's not going.
Mark, we've got a point here. Mark Findlow on Facebook Live has mentioned Sane would have signed by now if he was going to. It's a good point, actually. Yeah. It's a really good point. You can understand that. Why is he not signed? If you're an injured player and you're a bit conscious about your contract running down, you're thinking, hang on a minute, I need to tie this up for the next couple of years just in case it's a bit more serious. And yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Yeah, probably would have done by now. How long is his contract left for? Do we know? How long has he got left?
Good couple of years, I think.
Right, okay.
So, this is why we're saying that we want big money for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want to be one of these clubs like Arsenal where let the contract run down, the player takes advantage. If he don't go, he's going to take advantage of that contract and not sign it, isn't he?
No, absolutely.
I mean, he won't mind sitting on the bench and earning 200,000 a week, would he? Or whatever he earns. I would. That's because I'm a lazy sod.
I struggle by somehow.
Yeah.
Did you see Pep having a go at Stones for not having his shin pads on properly in time?
Completely agree, though. I was speaking to my stepdad watching the game. Why are they still doing it? You know, even well, maybe not so much the goalkeepers. You're on that subs bench. An injury can happen at any time. A pivotal moment. They could have a chance for crossing the ball into our box, and we'll be down to 10 men. You should have a player all kitted up. Yeah, have a coat on, have a cover over your legs, keep yourself warm or whatever. Just be ready. You know, it's a centre back we needed. You know.
Absolutely, completely agree with you. We've had a question through from Aditya in relation to Garcia and Harwood Bellis, and obviously the frequency of starts. And obviously, with our defensive frailty, should they be playing more? Yes, they should, but not in the Premier League. For me, you know, we need to concrete those games. And unfortunately, we're in a situation where Fernandinho is a better defender instead of the young lads because of experience. But is the game next week against Southampton the ideal chance to be budding those two to actually give them a bit of game time experience? Would we gamble that?
I hope so. To be honest, I think, you know, even if at the end of the day it's to give the other senior players a bit of a rest, that they need that experience somehow. If the next generation are the ones that were going to take us, you know, to the next level, then they've got to get this experience now. It's pointless waiting for 2 or 3 years until the Silvers and the Fernandinhos, Agüeros retire. Let's get them in. Let's blood them now, at least in some games, so they've got that a little bit of experience for when they're actually going to be, to Dan's point, Foden's going to be a starter next year. So let's blood him so it's not all fresh and new to him when he starts in August next year being a starter.
Osuema's mentioned, forgive me if I've not pronounced that correctly, Osuema. He's asked a really good question in relation to Otamendi being fit, Stones is fit. Everyone's fit, imaginary world, brilliant, everyone's happy, hunky-dory. Who's our centre-backs?
Laporte and Stones.
Laporte and Stones, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, I would go Laporte Stones as well.
Where does Nico fit into this to you two? Put it this way, I'll ask you another question. If you could have Fernandinho or Nico in defence, who would you have?
Fernandinho. I'd go there.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Fernandinho, unfortunately. Otamendi's...
Where's Nico in the pecking order? He's dropping.
He's done it to himself, though, isn't he? He just... A couple of years, it's like what the other Dan said in the last podcast, he's been a great servant. He has put in some great performances at that centre-back position in many games. But if it comes down to defending, it's composure in it. Yes, Fernandinho gave away a penalty in midweek, but he's a lot more calmer on the ball. He can win a ball, he can make tackles, he can win headers. Otamendi can do that, but you just trust Fernandinho more. And I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's what Pep is after, a bit more trust. You know, I mean, at the end
of the day, this is a big question for Edison. I talk about with the team I coach. I'm always talking about that with the goalkeeper. That this defense is your defense.
Yeah,
you're the ones who are organising them. So the question for me would be to Edison: who do you trust in your back four? Who do you want back there with you? And he'll definitely want Fernandinho because they're both Brazilian. You know, for a start, and they speak the same language, and they've known each other probably through the national team and whatever, and beyond City for absolutely years. There's a comfort factor there. So,
really can't argue with that whatsoever. We've had Nigel O'Driscoll mention this thing we've discussed on previous chats in relation to Guardiola's successor, and I think we're all unanimous in Arteta.
Yes.
Tell me if I'm wrong in thinking that. And the question is, a really good question, do we think he'll extend his contract?
No. I think as soon as his contract's gone, he's gone. His family's moved back home and he's not going to be wanting to spend, as awful as it sounds, another minute in Manchester longer than he needs to. That sounds wrong the way I said it, but you know exactly how I mean it, don't you? Apart from the weather.
I love my City. You leave it alone.
Hey, it's like a second home to me too. I was just born at the other end of the Pennines, you know. I'm still City through and through, but you know.
I can't see him extending the contract. I think he's got 2 years to see if he can figure out this Champions League. And we've discussed before, we don't think that's going to happen. But I honestly think that the only job that Pep's going to take after this is when Catalonia basically gets independence, and he's going to manage that team, because there's some incredible Catalonian players who end up playing for Spain, and they don't want to. They want to play for Catalonia, and when that happens, I think that's what he'll do. He'll become a country manager.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see that happening. I know where you're coming from, and I can generally understand where you're coming from, obviously, but that's a massive political call to do that in Spain.
Who does he go to after us? Because I can't see him do. I mean, he rails out the picture. That's not going to happen with his Barca ties. He's not going to go back to Barca. He's done the Germany thing. I can't see him doing the PSG, because that's just Manchester City, but in France. I can't see who else he'll manage after this.
Do you not see like a Juventus or something like that for him? Or do you think he doesn't need any money, does he? But I say that he doesn't seem the type of person either to just quit because he's young. He seems like he's got a good 20 years left in him as management if he really wants to. Or,
he does, but
maybe he's just happy. Maybe he's done with City. That's it. I've done my bit, but I can't see it. Spain.
He might just do what he's done, between Barca and Bayern. He might just take a year or two off, and he'll assess his options. And to your point, Tom, he might go and learn Italian, because that's what he did when he had that year off in New York. That he learned German, so he could go there and be successful at Bayern Munich. He might be thinking exactly the same thing. That of course Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, who are on a real downward spiral. Of course, they'd want a manager like Pep. I've just always thought, because he's so patriotic about his country as he sees it, Catalonia. Yeah. He went to those demonstrations and things, and he's been in trouble a few times, for wearing that shirt or that yellow ribbon.
Yeah.
I think if you said to Pep, they're going to get independence, and you can be the country's first manager, he will be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
it's like someone asking one of us three, would you like to take over Manchester City and be manager? Well, yeah, in a heartbeat. Please, I'll give it a go.
I've not had the phone call yet, though. I'm waiting for the phone call.
Well, you lad mentioned it the other time on a podcast that Pep was in my pocket at the moment. So yeah, I think I'll be next one. That's definitely it's me.
Can I be
your? So make sure you bring me and Tom in as scouts or something.
Absolutely. we can head up the media team. It's fine. Yeah. Absolutely done all that. We've had a question through which we've discussed before from Simon Manson about improving the atmosphere at the Etihad. And this rolls nicely into the advert for asking for influencers. Have you seen this recently?
Yeah.
IBAP. How it stands out, because obviously City are rumoured to have had absolutely nothing to do with this, but City were using Tribe for one thing or another, stopped the contract, and all of a sudden a couple of weeks later, this Tribe thing pops up on the internet to try and embarrass us. It all seems a bit rubbish, doesn't it? I don't really understand what's going on at the moment. Obviously, with improving the atmosphere and having these influencers, I don't get it. Something's rotten somewhere for me.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I mean, it's just giving ammunition to dippers and the rags, things like that, to just have a go at us again about the empty had and all those. It's just boring. I do recognise that there is a atmosphere problem, and I think we discussed last week that it's how can they take the great atmosphere that they're creating outside the ground. Everyone seems to love, what they do. How can they put that inside the ground as well? And that's difficult. And I come back to the point I made last week. Please give us safe standing back. Please let us have a Kipax at Etihad. You would have thousands of Blues trying to get tickets for a Kipex style section of the Etihad, and you'd see that noise. You'd see the roof come off.
It'd be amazing, that, wouldn't it? That'd be fantastic. Yeah. No, I completely agree. So hopefully that answers the question for you, Simon. We've had a chap called Mohammed Rana ask about would you consider getting a new centre back in January? Obviously got Laporte coming back. For me, no, probably not. But
no,
round, really, I suppose, but it's not top of my list.
Well, Dan wants Sewell, and now Sewell is out for a full 12 months, right? So I heard, from Bayern. He's going to miss the European Championships as well. He's done. Oh, you still want Diaz? Okay.
Yeah, I just can't get it in a non-loving way, football related only. I just can't get the guy out of my head. He's such a good centre back. He's. I don't know what.
Get a room.
Go on. That's your age. Come on. No, he's everything I think we need. Everything I need in my life, anyway. It's everything I think City needs because
he's got his firstborn child on the way.
Find out tomorrow if he's either going to be the captain of City in the future, or the men's or the ladies. Find out tomorrow.
All right.
Go on, City. Yeah,
he'll be a centre back. Make sure he grows up a centre back, and we've got no problems.
So there's a good teaser to visit our page tomorrow, so Dan can make an announcement.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you doing one of these balloon pop things where it's blue or pink?
No, we're
sure. They're so rubbish. You got to.
I had a week off a couple of weeks ago, and I spent 2 days flat just doing the baby's room, and I had to do it. All Man City.
Absolutely.
But you've got to. Wife turns around. You've got to do it gender neutral. You don't know what it's going to be yet. And it can still be Man City. Any excuse not to put City.
Or blue. It's boy or blue. Girl or boy. It's still blue. So yeah.
Oh God, it's going to be blue. But she said I want a grey, so I got a bluey grey. No one likes bluey grey. Oh, she's obsessed with grey. She wants the living room to be grey. I want it to blue.
Sounds like a Man United fan's memory, that.
Maybe we answer the question this way: that if the right player comes up at the right price, then yes, we might buy a centre back. And if it's a Diaz or a Sewell or that kind of player, then yes, I think City would find the money to do that. I think Tom, you said last week it was January last year. We bought Laporte. So there can be sometimes these little jewels that you find in the January window, and I think City will look, and if it's the right player, right price, I think we might do something.
Absolutely. A really good question here from Patrick Blake. Should we stop booing the Champions League song and try to excite and help them build more of an exciting atmosphere and help them win the competition? Tough one.
You two
boo?
I do. That's only because of UEFA. Yeah. That's only because of UEFA. And Tuesday night summed that up for me. It's all corrupt. And that story I posted on the page earlier about the Porto game back in 2012, it's always been the same. It's UEFA, hands down. If UEFA get a change, I'll be happy. I'll cheer every minute of the Champions League anthem. But I will not cheer or clap that anthem being played at our ground with a UEFA as corrupt as they are. Because no matter what anybody says, it is corrupt. No matter what anybody says.
You need to really tell people how you feel.
Yeah,
I know. I need to be a bit more out there, don't I?
Completely agree.
It just seems such a rotten corporation, and anything that ever happens is always financially driven, and it's there's something rotten there, isn't there?
And I think at the end of the day, the players know this. They're not stupid. They're all on social media. They know how us fans feel about it, and something tells me that this kind of pushes them a little bit when they hear this booing, because that booing is actually us supporting our 11 players on the pitch, and I think they realise that. They realise we're not booing them in any way. We're booing the organisation, because to Dan's point, the horrible human beings, and it's completely corrupt, and it needs completely changing.
Absolutely. We've had a real good health and safety question from Neil Whittle. He's in the unfortunate. He's smiling. He's got a really unfortunate situation like I have, and I have to deal with this, of having Man United fan friends, and is it contagious, and is there a cure for him? One bit of advice I've used through my life, Neil, is bleach. I found that really good to wash with.
I commented to that one, I think. There is a cure, but they chose red over blue, so Sodom.
Yeah.
To answer the question, unfortunately not. But if you throw some water at them, they tend to not come back. So yeah, it's fine, Neil. Yeah, unfortunately.
We just keep winning, and less of them will come back. Simple as that.
Absolutely. How's the what's the proportion like over in the States, Dave, for United fans? Do you still see many? I was in Leeds last weekend and I saw City shirts everywhere. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's funny here. So first of all, it'll be, oh, you're from Manchester. Yeah, I'm from Manchester. Oh, and then the next question always is, oh, Manchester United. And I think it's not because they know anything about football. It's just simply because that's what Americans know about Manchester in particular. It's United. And then I have to go and and explain to them. And as soon as I explain, no, there's only one team in Manchester actually, and we're the current Premier League champions. We've broken all these records. It's okay, but. Yeah, I think it's just simply that the Manchester United have got their brand out here in America much more so than City have.
Understandably so. And I think we're all done for fan questions. We're getting some cracking questions coming through. And just a quick shout out to everybody to say that if you want to come and join us on this next week, please leave a message or get in touch. Drop us an inbox into the group on Facebook and come on. It'd be great to have another opinion. I'm not saying you two are rubbish, but it's time for some fresh blood coming through.
He's lying. Don't listen to him.
Yeah. No, it'd be really good to get a couple more people on board here, wouldn't it, to get their opinions as well. It's really interesting that, and some fantastic questions through as well. But how are you two thinking for our next couple of games then? Because we've got Villa and Southampton and Southampton again. So you've got to be confident, haven't you? If you can't. If we're not going to win the league, if we're not confident against those two teams.
No, I think I think 3 W's for me. Win, win, win. I can't see any different. I think Villa will be a tough task at the weekend. They've got a good midfield, but I think we'll have too much for them. I think Southampton, to Dan's point, they're probably going to play second string in the League Cup, and that means that we can bring in Harwood Bellis maybe or Garcia, but he's still going to be playing some world-class players as well. So I think we'll beat Southampton, and then I think we'll just take that into the next league game as well, and we'll beat them again.
Yeah, can't argue.
Not predicting scores. I'll leave that to Dan.
Oh, come on, predict scores. I'm not a score predictor. We know this by now.
What was that comment about? I'm always the level-headed one. It's like I said, you can't diss it. Watford all over again.
What are you going for?
Villa. See, I don't think it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be a walkover for City. I really do see a huge scoreline. Not huge as in 8 or 9-0. I'm thinking more 10 or 11. No, I'm going for a nice 4 or 5-0 win. I don't think they'll get a goal. I really don't.
Okay.
Southampton in the League Cup, again, depending on teams. But I can see a win there. I'm not predicting a scoreline there because it's the League Cup. They're all dodgy games in the League Cup, no matter who you're playing.
Southampton, and they're going to have a weakened team, and this is the opportunity for you to go for silly buggers on the scores, and you're not going to give us a score. Come on, this one's made for you.
7-6. Go on, say it. Give up.
I don't think I'll do
that. If Jesus starts up front, I think he'll get a hat trick. I like my scoring predictions, scorer predictions. I'll go for let's go for a nice mediocre 4-0 win again, and then Southampton in the league. Again, Premier League's a different style. I'll go for a 4-0 win again in the league.
So what? 3 4-0s?
Yeah, maybe a 5 against Villa, but yeah, 4 for the other 2 against Southampton.
We need to start putting money on this, because one day a couple of these are going to drop in and we'll be in the money then.
It's like I said, the Watford game. The one time I didn't say 8-0. One time. I would have been a millionaire.
Go on, Dave. You're up.
See, I've been a supporter a little bit longer than Dan, and I still have that pessimism in me. I'm going to go 3-1 Saturday.
Yes,
against Villa.
A good proper footballing scoreline, as my dad would say.
League Cup, Southampton, I'll go 2-0. and league, because I think as long as we come through the next couple of games relatively injury-free, bear in mind, I think that the Southampton league game is the week before Liverpool, right?
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. He's really going to want to put on a performance and put the frighteners on Liverpool. So I can see that being a demolition job. I can see that being 6-0.
It's funny you say that. I have a feeling we'll beat them more in the league than it will in the cup. That's funny. It's funny you mention that because I've got that feeling as well. I think I'm not going to go for scores, but yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you. I think we'll just do something else about him. Do something on him on the league.
And if anyone listening puts money on it and you win anything, then share the wealth.
Absolutely.
4-0.
You know what we need to do? We need to put a quid in every week. I'll put a quid in every week, and we'll give any money we'll give to charity. We'll put to a charity.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm not a gambler, so I feel a bit wrong saying that.
Well, it's just the way you started that. You said, we'll put a pound in. We'll put a pound in. You went, I'll put a pound in. Yeah. You do that.
I always tell my mates when they're talking about betting, I said, just put the money in the top drawer and you'll still have it the next day. I'm not a someone who's lost a lot of money with gambling. I've not really. I thought you see my poker face at the start of this. I'm rubbish at gambling. Oh, fantastic. Have we got anything to
add? No.
Can't think of anything. Just, work on that. You ask us about the atmosphere all the times, but, this is on the fans. I've been at some games where I've seen fans turn around and plead to other fans, to get off the seats and start cheering. That starts with us. Let's start this on Saturday. If you don't think the atmosphere is great, do something about it.
Absolutely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always. Another Thursday night.
Love these chats.
Do you know what? It's funny, isn't it? We're turning into United, playing on Thursday nights.
Yeah. I told you.
We're the ones who only win.
I told you. I even set up that Thursday night chat on WhatsApp for my United mates. They did not take kindly to it at all. I was trying to help.
Oh, how the tables have turned. Right. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll have a chat after the first of 2 Southampton games. We'll arrange something for the middle of the week. Yeah, sounds good?
All right.
Nice. Good.
Cheers, bye-bye.
Bye.